The Cincinnati Reds control their own destiny for a final wildcard spot, but not so fast, says FanGraphs. Are they okay?
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Reds podcast. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. My name's Stephen Offenbaker. His name is Jeff Carr. We are lifelong Cincinnati Reds fans. We love talking about the Reds. We love talking about baseball. We've been doing it for a combined 14 years in podcast form, and we love talking about Cincinnati Reds baseball with you. On today's show, a little bit later, Hunter Green speaks. The Cincinnati Reds listen. The Reds are making a big push to pack the ballpark for the Pittsburgh Pirates series that gets underway tonight. We're going to talk about what the Reds are doing and how you can participate coming up here in just a little bit. In that game tonight, Brady Singer on the mound for your Cincinnati Reds, taking on Johan Oviedo. We're going to break down that pitching matchup here in just a couple minutes. But where we are going to start is by asking the question is what is happening with the metrics over at FanGraphs? Because right now they believe there's less than a 50% chance of your Cincinnati Reds making the playoffs and grabbing that final wild card. So that's where we're going to start right there on today's episode that is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets back to use across the app. Download the app today. Okay, Jeff, let's get into this because, this is, FanGraphs says less than a 50% chance. That's why I'm a baseball reference kind of guy. I'm loyal to the OG. I'm not getting caught up in this FanGraphs stuff. But by the way, baseball reference says 48.3% also.
Nobody seems to like this, Steve. I don't get it. Like, the Reds control their own destiny. They have the tiebreaker against the Mets. They have the tiebreaker against the Diamondbacks. They also have the tiebreaker. If the Giants go on a winning streak, they have a tiebreaker against the Giants and based on division record, because I don't think that the Reds would be in a playoff conversation, but somehow lose the division record, a conversation with the Giants. But also the Giants are a couple of games behind even the Diamondbacks. So, even when you look at all of that, it's the Mets, it's the Reds, and the Reds have the tiebreaker here. So if the Reds win out, no questions asked. If the Reds win 5-1, then the Mets have to win out. If the Mets go 4-2, you see where I'm getting at this. But according to FanGraphs, the Reds are going to go 3-3 in the final 6 games, and the Mets are going to go 4-2. I say this knowing that in the past, we have poo-pooed FanGraphs projections for the Cincinnati Reds and been wrong. As much as I hate to say it, FanGraphs has been right in the past. But they're wrong here, Steve. The Reds are going to beat the Mets into the playoffs here.
Yeah, I'm trying to just kind of work this math out in my head a little bit. And FanGraphs has to think, I guess if we're breaking it down, they have to think the Reds are going to go 2-1 against the Pirates, but then go do that thing they do in Milwaukee and go 1-2, right? Like lose 2 of 3. And I don't see it playing out that way. 2 of 3 against the Pirates sounds fair. We are facing Paul Skeens. You don't know what's going to happen in that game. Granted, it's him versus Hunter Green, which we're going to get into on tomorrow's show, which I'm excited about. But 2 of 3 seems fair. I don't know that Milwaukee is really going to put its best effort forward. I know our friend Chuck from Locked On Brewers checked in and said that he thinks the Brewers are going to just keep playing hard all the way to the end. I just don't see it that way. I can't fathom that they would do that heading into the playoffs. And I know they get that first round bye, but it would be much better to kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit, put the bench in, let your starters sit and rest up, not use your regular starting pitchers, not do things to set yourself up for problems. So I don't know that I agree with Chuck, but but FanGraphs and Baseball Reference are right. If that's the assumption, if the assumption is they're going to go to Milwaukee and only win 1 game, that is a problem. The Reds have to go up there and win 2 of 3, unless all breaks out this next series and the Reds sweep the Pirates, the Mets get swept by the Cubs, and then it's a little bit different story.
But I also think that there's a bit of recent trend that the system, and make no mistake about it, this is a system that FanGraphs is running. This is not like a poll of people and they're all making their predictions and things like this. This is coming out of an algorithm. This is coming out of a system. And I think what this is looking at is a much larger picture than where we are right now. And I think that baseball's so strange in that it's 162 games, and obviously you cannot discount what teams did early on in the season. But the Reds are ridiculously hot right now for reasons that we said they were probably going to miss the playoffs because we didn't think they could do. We didn't think they could hit for power. We didn't think they could play clean baseball. They've done that over the last week. I believe they will continue to do that now. And algorithms can't see that. They can't understand that that's where the Reds are right now in their season. They also can't understand the crazy streak that the Mets have been on in the negative side of things. I did not realize this, Steve, but yesterday, whenever the Reds finally Sunday, whenever the Reds finally eclipsed the Mets, they tied them in the record, but they have the tiebreaker, so they're ahead of them. That was the first time since April 5th that the Mets fell out of a playoff spot. April 5th. And Steve, how many days have the Reds been in a playoff spot?
One.
What? We're talking about this like recent trend right here that I just think is going to continue. I think Terry Francona's tapped into something. I think some guys who have been struggling recently have tapped into something, and we're seeing this all come together at the last possible moment, which is the best possible moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that the algorithm is flawed. I agree with you because it doesn't, there's no way to include the hot hand right now. There's no way for the algorithm to take into account that Spencer Steer's shoulder is finally right. There's no way for the algorithm to take into account that Terry Francona has flipped a switch and gone into postseason mode. There's no way to account for all that. So if the Steve scoring system, trademark and patented, says the Reds have a 75% chance right now of making the playoffs.
We need to call it a different name. I don't like that abbreviation.
The Steve scoring system?
Yeah, it's not good. Maybe the Offenbaker scoring system. That's probably not better. Anyway, no, I'm with you. I think there's just so much about this team right now that systems are not going to adequately see where the Reds have come back from. I mean, we, and I will not bury the lead here. We said they were dead.
Yes, we did.
We did not see this happening. As much as we love this team, as much as we love the players that we've watched grow from prospects into where they are now, we did not see this happening. And so that, more than anything, is why I buy that it's not going to change and that they're not going to falter. I've seen a lot of people, and I know I got really excited on my reaction after the Reds swept the Cubs 4 games, and people were talking about WWE promoter and things like that. And then there were people in the comment section that were just like, guys, we got 6 games left. We know what this team does. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think they're doing that no more. I think we're kind of past that point, at least for the rest of 2025. And I think that, the Steers of the world, even the fact that, Key Brian Hayes is still good to go. We heard some nice things from Terry Francona about Austin Hayes and playing on Tuesday. That's still up in the air. But even so, and we'll talk about this as we go through these next couple of days and we preview pitching matchups and stuff, all 3 of these guys that the Pirates are putting on the mound against the Reds are right-handed, which means all 3 of these games, Will Benson should be in the starting lineup. And I think that's even better than if Austin Hayes were in the starting lineup right now, because Will Benson has looked every bit the part of a clutch hitter when a right-handed pitcher has been on the mound. And so I really like where the Reds are.
I do too. And I think you're right. I think it's much better right now to have Will Benson in the lineup facing a right-handed pitcher. Let Austin Hayes maybe get his back right. Backs are tricky, and he had to leave the game the other day with tightness in his back. Right. I like the way the Reds match up with the Pirates. I like the momentum. I like how things are going. I'm excited. You know how excited I am? I'm almost this excited. Woo! That's how excited I am.
Love it.
That's how excited I am.
Speaking of the matchups, Brady Singer's on the mound tonight, and Johan Oviedo opposes him for the Pirates. We'll break down what to expect on that coming up next. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, like, sure, that thing works. There's so many products out there. It's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything at all. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. It's the supplement that clinically is tested to target the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. I mean, when it comes to Nutrafol, this is the kind of thing that as Reds fans, we just tear our hair out and we're like, oh my gosh, now I have no hair. Nutrafol helps you with the whole thinning and shedding and all that great stuff. It helps you get your hair back. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Thank you for making Locked On Reds part of your everyday routine. If you have not done so yet, please hit that subscribe button, whether it be here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, because that will really help Steve's hair come back on top of the Nutrafol. Also, make sure that you check out Tim Daniel on the podcast. He's live at the end of every ball game here on the YouTube page and in your audio feed shortly thereafter. Yeah, a little behind the scenes. We've said that Steve can't do the Nutrafol.
I'm not allowed.
Obvious reasons. It'd be like me advertising some sort of vegan trend or something like that. Yeah, Steve, this is a nice matchup here. Brady Singer against Johan Oviedo. Brady Singer's on a heater right now. I don't think that we adequately, and we talked about this on after his last start, but just kind of rehashing it a little bit. I don't think we've adequately assigned the value to Brady Singer that we should have. I mean, he is the 4th best player, according to Baseball Reference, in WAR on the team right now at 3.2. But more than that, he's just on a tear recently.
He is. You look at his last couple outings. I mean, they're not stop the press is good, but they're pretty good. Against the Athletics, he went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, and then he backed that up with his next start in St. Louis, where he went 5 2/3, and again, 2 runs on 3 hits. That's all you ask for.
2.15 ERA in his last 10 starts.
I will take that. And his walks per 9 are a little bit higher than I would like. His strikeouts per 9, he's not blowing guys away, but he's at 8.7 strikeouts per 9. Right. He is been as advertised, and I've convinced already that we can say the Reds won this trade, bringing him in. He was a great addition. He has performed exactly how he was expected and what was needed of him. And, when he's on the mound, I like the Reds' chances to be in that ball game. And so I like him being the first starter in this series. I like the way the rotation is matching up. I think they can go out there and get a win, extend the winning streak to 6 games, which would be a season high, and continue to ride the momentum. And I like it using Brady Singer in this spot so that the other starting pitchers can come along in Green and Lodolo and really try to get things done in games where you're matching up Green with Pittsburgh's best, and then you're following that up with Lodolo, hopefully to secure a sweep.
Well, and I think that's the interesting thing about this is like he has done everything we've asked of him and more. Because when he got here, when the Reds traded for him, we said, just be that reliable every 5th day guy and keep the Reds in the ball game. These last 10 starts, and I'm going to keep harping on this sample size here, Steve, because we're in the nitty gritty of this season right now. And Andrew Abbott is starting to fatigue a little bit. We're seeing some fatigue from guys in the bullpen. Other pitchers that have been healthy for most of the year are starting to break down a little bit. Brady Singer in his last 10 is averaging better than a strikeout per inning. He's got 62 strikeouts and 58 2/3 innings. That's the other part of this. He's got 10 starts, 58 2/3 innings, just about averaging 6 innings per start. I mean, we're seeing a lot of great stuff from him right now. And I feel really good about how he matches up with a Pirates lineup that, albeit just scored 11 runs against the Athletics. And yes, for anybody that's trying to do the whole thing of matchup, roulette and saying, okay, well, the Pirates just took 2 out of 3 from the Athletics. What's that mean they're going to do to the Reds, who got swept by the Athletics? Yeah, I got nothing for you on that one. But I'm feeling good about Brady Singer on the mound here.
I think you hit on a really important point we should maybe just talk about for another minute, Jeff, and that is the endurance factor. That is the availability fatigue factor, right? You look at Brady Singer's numbers last year. At 2024 in Kansas City was a career high for him. He started 32 games and he threw 179 and 2/3 innings. So he hasn't hit that yet for the Reds. This will be his 31st start tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he's at 161 innings even right now. So he's not eclipsed those career high numbers. He still has some reserves in the tank is what I'm saying, Jeff. We know clearly he has at least 2 more starts in his tank, probably more. So I feel good about him being in this situation right now.
I think it's intriguing to looking on the other side of this against Johan Oviedo. He's coming back from Tommy John. I mean, he's definitely made more than just a couple of starts. He's got 7 starts on the season, but he missed all of last year and missed much of this year. His first appearance in a game, he did start the game, but he only pitched 1 inning, was back on August 4th for the Pirates. And so it's not as if he's pitched a ton. He should be feeling pretty fresh, but at the same time, he's still working through getting back into being normal and pitching normal and regular time. So I'm curious to see how he pitches here against these Redlegs, because we know coming back from Tommy John's a bit of a crapshoot, and it takes a little bit of time. Obviously, he's got 2 more starts based on the every 5th day thing, this one and 1 more for Pittsburgh. So what is he going to look like for the end of this season? It's hard to tell, but in his last start out against the Cubs, he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. So it's not out of the realm of impossibility here that the Reds do continue to hit the ball well against him.
And on the Pittsburgh side of things, I mean, how motivated are they going to be really? I mean, they're professionals and they're getting paid, and there's the whole pride and that goes along with all that, I guess. But the Pirates are 12 games under 500. They're eliminated from everything. It's the second to last series of the year. They're already booking their vacations, man. They're not out here worrying about trying to play spoiler to anything. They're just trying to get this season wrapped up.
And they're horrible on the road. Like this, I remember the fact that for much of this season, the Pirates were actually like above, or it was either at or above 500 at home, and just absolutely horrid on the road. So on the road this year,
let me fix too. I said 12 games. They're 22 games under 500. I misspoke. I was
going to say 12 sounded close.
There are a lot
for them.
There are a lot of games under 500. It's 22 games.
And the reason why is because they are 23 and 52 on the road this year. That's a crazy difference. And they are 7 games. This is if I were our friend Gary over at Locked On Pirates, I'd just be baffled by this. I'm sure he is. But they're 44 and 37 in Pittsburgh. They're 7 games over 500 at home. And they're how many games under 500 total?
22 games.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And the Reds cannot like ease up on this. And to their credit, they're not. We're seeing lots of things, at least, publicly, different things that they're talking about, and there's hype videos and all this other stuff. And it seems like they're like 1 game at a time. And Terry Francona seems to have them focused when they need to be focused, but they cannot falter now, because this is the kind of matchup that it's not just, you should. No, you should beat up on these buccos.
Well, I fall back to what I said yesterday, Jeff. This is their opportunity to make me a believer, because they've adjusted and they've righted a lot of things that they were doing this year that drove you and I both crazy. But what they haven't showed us yet is to be able to come off of that big stunner of a series, and in this case, the 4-game sweep of the Cubs, and then go into the following series that on paper they should absolutely dominate, and then not screw it up. I use the examples of how they win a big series, lose to the White Sox, win a big series, lose to the Nationals. They've done this all year long. They have to go and win this series against the Pirates. And if they do that, I'm going to really kind of start to be a believer and believe in what this team is doing right now.
And adding to that and looking back on Brady Singer, just to close out this segment, on the road this year for the Pirates lineup as a whole, 214 batting average, 288 on base percentage, 330 slugging percentage on the road for the Pirates.
Let's go, Brady Singer. Get this done. All right, Jeff. Hunter Green spoke. The Cincinnati Reds listened. They are attempting to, quote the Reds, pack the ballpark. We'll tell you what's up coming up next. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets back if you use the app. That's right. $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. So, it's football season, but maybe throw a little bit on the Reds tonight. I think Brady Singer is going to get a win, and the Reds are going to take the first of the games against the Pittsburgh Pirates to extend the win streak to a season high 6. So maybe get in on a little bit of that action. So if you're ready to get in on some baseball action or the NFL, listen, whatever you do, don't take the Bengals on Monday night. Here's what you do. You just download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com, and you can get started there with a $5 winning bet for $300 in bonus bets back. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. If you can't follow us here on YouTube, you can get us in the audio feeds. We are seriously on pretty much every podcasting platform out there. So go find Locked On Reds, click subscribe. You'll get us in the audio feeds. Just like if you click subscribe here on YouTube, you'll get us in the video feeds as well. Also, that's going to get you Tim Daniel for the remaining 6 games and hopefully playoff games. All right, Jeff, Hunter Green started a little bit of a controversy the other night, where he said it sure would have been nice if there had been some people at the ballpark to watch his 1-0 complete game shutout victory. He wasn't wrong. And at the time, my reaction was, well, put a consistent baseball team on the field, then maybe you get to call people out. And
Right.
We can go from there. But the Reds heard Hunter Green loud and clear. They want to fill up Great American Ballpark for these final 3 regular season home games. So they are doing some stuff, Jeff. First thing they're doing is there's going to be $8 tickets available. Now, that's not all of the sections. $8 not going to get you in the diamond seats, folks. Sorry, that's not a thing. But $8 will get you in the ballpark to make some noise and cheer on the Redlegs. The other thing they're doing, this is the part that got Jeff Carr's attention the most, is that they are adding 3-2-1 to every night of the series. So that's $3 beers, $2 hot dogs, $1 ice cream cups. And that's going to be for the whole Pittsburgh series, all 3 games. They want people in the ballpark. So I give the Reds credit because it would be nice if there's 30 or 40,000 people at least a couple of these games to really get an atmosphere going for the players. The middle game of this series, the Green Skeens, is appointment baseball. If you're just a true baseball fan and you can get down there for that game, get down there for that game. That's going to be an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. I'm a little jealous because if I was in town, I would be there. But I like that the Reds are doing this, Jeff. I like that they're at least trying to do something to get everybody in the ballpark here this final series.
It's a lot of fun, and there is no confirmation of this. It's not as if I know this for a fact, but I got a really good feeling that the @Reds Twitter account had something to do with it, because there was a lot of folks on Twitter the other day that were just like, oh, boy, how horrible is that? The Reds just swept the Cubs in 4 games and the ballpark looks like that. Like all kinds of people like disparaging how the Reds ballpark looked and who's there, who's not there, all this other stuff. And whatever. I'm not going to react to that because, as our friend Mo has said many a time on his show as well, he's just like, I'm not going to, tell people how to spend their money. Spend your money to go to the ballpark and stuff like this. But I'll tell you what, when you got $8 tickets and you got 3-2-1 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that's kind of a nice deal a little bit. And I give the credit to @Reds for seeing that stuff on Twitter and just being like, you know what? Let's shut everybody up. Let's bring everybody here to the ballpark. Now, something they cannot control, and this thing is going to annoy the crap out of me, but good old Cincinnati in September. I'm not talking about baseball. I'm talking about weather. There's a 95% chance of rain on Wednesday. There's a very high percentage chance of rain on Tuesday, and there's a pretty high percentage chance of rain on Thursday as well. This is the last 3 home games of the year, and I think we might see rain delays in possibly all 3 of them.
Yeah, they're going to get these games in no matter what they have to do.
Yeah.
We may see a doubleheader over the next 3 days, including today. We'll see what happens. But this deal the Reds are doing to get you down there, $20, get you 2 ice creams, 2 hot dogs, 2 beers, and a ticket. That's not bad, folks. To your point on the weather, Jeff, that's the one wild card, pun intended. That's the one wild card that the Reds aren't in control of right now.
Only part of the destiny they can't control.
If it gets a little wonky with the weather, it could be problematic because you get to call up the extra guy. I don't know that's it's not Chase Petty. Who you calling up? Who you adding to put in this bullpen?
Buck Farmer, maybe. Ryan Richardson, maybe. It'd be an extra guy to help out, but honestly, that would be the thing that would really stink because the last time this Reds team really kind of saw its momentum derailed was lots and lots of weather in Bristol, and how that messed everything up there for a little bit. Took the Reds forever to recover from it. And the month of August was horrible. And I'm not going to say that was the only reason that the month of August was horrible. There were multiple circumstances, but that definitely fed into it. They can't afford this now because
I would love to see them try and apply. And I know this is asking a lot, and try to contain your laughter when I say it, but I really need the Reds to exercise some common sense when they look at the next 3 games. Because they're notorious for doing nothing, knowing the rain is coming, getting everybody down there, and then still calling the game and having all the problems. They have to look at this weather and be like, if we have to move the game up on game 3, and that prevents some people from coming, but we get the game in without obliterating the bullpen, then they need to move the game up. The Reds are in control of it until first pitch. Then it becomes an umpire problem. But they need to be smart, looking at the forecast, looking at the radar. We've all gotten really good at looking at Cincinnati's radar and kind of figuring out what's going to happen. So they need to apply some common sense to this situation and not make it harder than it needs to be.
I want to finish today's podcast with this little bit of off the beaten path stuff, but down in Louisville, there was a fantastic thing that happened the other day in that Levi Jordan, who was up here for a minute last year in Cincinnati, but Levi Jordan played all 9 positions during a baseball game, started at third base and moved his way all around the diamond, put the catcher's gear on for an inning. He got on the mound for an inning, played every single spot. Steve, is it ever possible that a player, I guess with the rules of position player pitching, probably not, but is it ever possible that in a regular season ball game, you would see a major league player play all 9 positions?
Yes, but it would have to be something worked out well in advance because of what you just mentioned, the position player pitching rules. You'd have to know you wanted to do it. You'd have to know who you wanted to do it with. And
so it would be natural.
No, it would have to be one of those games where, somebody hung a 10 spot on you in the first inning and another 5 in the second inning. And then you could move guys around. You could start moving somebody around and get them into pitch in that game because it's already a blowout. It would be very gimmicky. It would have to be very planned. It's never going to organically happen.
The 2022 Reds could have pulled this off, and God willing, they will never be able to pull that off again because, boy, there were some years there. 2022 was the crux of it, but there were some years there, 2017, 2018, 2022. Whatever. Just have somebody play all 9 positions. That might be more interesting than what could possibly happen in this game because we know the Reds weren't going to win. But it was fun to see that Levi Jordan was able to accomplish that kind of, shades. I was talking with a friend the other day, shades of Will Ferrell, whenever he played all 9 positions with 9 different ball clubs during spring training.
Third base for the Reds. If any of you missed that, he
played
third base for the Reds.
I'm trying to remember if it was left field or if it was third base, but third
base.
Yeah, left side of the field. I got that part right.
Well, no fooling you. Takes a lot to get by you.
All
right, Jeff, that's going to do it. that is where we're going to put a pin in this one. We're going to wrap up this edition of Locked On Reds. We will be back in your feeds tomorrow, hopefully talking about a Brady Singer win and a 6-game season high win streak. Hopefully that is on the agenda for tomorrow's show. Make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell. Make sure you check out Tim Daniel after the game tonight. He's going to be going live to tell you what you just watched. All right, Jeff, that's going to do it. We're going to keep gathering up the news, the notes, the reports, the rumors, the information, bring it all right back here to keep everybody locked on Reds every single day. Woo! Your dad's going to be so mad at us.
Might reuse that a lot the rest
Oh,
of
it's a lot. That's never going away.